Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing my feelings on limited run games and how the problem with it isn't so much a lack of
business ethics.
For those of you who are not familiar with what limited run games is, it's an American video game distributor based in Raleigh, North Carolina, founded by two guys, Douglas Bogart and Josh Fairhurst, and it's based on the preservation of video games as well as catering to gamers who prefer physical discs and cartridges as opposed to downloads. As far as my feelings on limited run games and how they're handling the situation of a limited amount of supply and how they're distributing it to people who want to buy it, I feel like they're doing the best they can with what they have. When they first started, it wasn't much of a problem because they weren't selling out of the games immediately. People would get the game because they heard about it from their friend and was like, oh, that would be a cool idea to get that. Or somewhere online would be talking about it and they'd find out about it from there. But now it's grown in such huge popularity that everyone and their mother knows about this and everybody and their mother wants to get these games. If for no other reason, then they're going to be worth more if you buy them and just resell them immediately than if you just ignore the whole process together, which creates an environment of scalping. The team over at Limited Run Games is doing their best to avoid the situation of scalpers arising by limiting how many you can put in your cart and how you have to go about getting them and in time to check out and things like that. But because of how supply and demand works, it's going to be a result of a company like Limited Run Games selling their games. If there's limited supply of something, see NES Classics for example, and they're sold out, people are going to want to pay more to get it because there's no other way to get the games. So therein lies the problem with limited run games. How do you fix the problem? Maybe raise the price of the games. That's going to piss a lot of people off, but it would fix the supply and demand issue a little bit if they're selling them for a heightened price where it would limit the market of people who want to buy them. But that no means guarantees that it's going to work because it could just raise the price even more on eBay and other scalping sites. Some people say, well, just create more stock.
I think on very important games, they have to up it a little bit. And that's my take on it. I think so for some really important games like Night Trap and Wonder Boy, they should think about doing a second printing.
Which I say, the name of the company is Limited Run Games. You don't just create more stock if your whole motto of your company is Limited Run Games. The team over at Limited Run Games maintains a pledge to refuse creating reprints of past titles, even if there's a high demand. And that's happened for a few big hitters like Wonder Boy and Night Trap and a few other ones. They're not going to make more of those because that, first off, would piss off a whole lot of people that got in line and bought it and their copy is worth something and they want that value there, and the reason why they bought it is to have a value in a game, and if that value is diluted, they're going to be really pissed. Now you might argue, well, tough crap, that's your problem, that's what happens. But I say the game company is called Limited Run Games, so people purchase it knowing that what they buy is going to be a one-of-a-kind item that has a limited amount of supply in it. I've also watched videos of people getting pissed off that they get the item, they put it in their cart, and then it's gone before they can check out. And I can kind of see the frustration on that because if you're in the store and you put something in your cart, someone can't just run up to your cart and grab it and run up to the register and buy it. I mean, I guess they could, but that would be really awkward. It doesn't really happen like that, except on Black Fridays. But you know what I mean. I've heard other arguments where people say, if they are worried about having overstock and not selling them, why not just take pre-orders and build the stock based off of how many people pre-order? That would kind of fly in the face, again, of the company name of Limited Run Games. It's not limited to a small amount if everyone and their mother is pre-ordering a game. So how do you fix the issue? I guess you really don't. It just kind of is what it is. I feel like they've done everything humanly possible to make the system as smooth as possible without increasing supply, but the demand has increased. It's just going to get harder and harder to get the games you want for the price that they're selling it for. So my only idea to fix limited run games is to jack the prices up to an exorbitant amount so that scalpers don't even bother with it because they wouldn't be selling out the supply immediately. And while that's not probably the best way to go about fixing an issue, to me it's the only realistic way to balance out supply and demand. You know, that we learn in Business 101, supply and demand drives free market economies. So, I don't know. That's my feelings on the situation. I hope they don't do that. I prefer how it is now over jacked up prices from the actual distributor. But who knows where it's going to go from here. And due to the success of limited run games, they're also exploring going back into the catalog of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games, and actually making physical collector's editions of those previous titles now for the new PlayStation 4 discs, which I kind of don't want them to do if it's a game that's already been released physically. The whole point of limited run games is to release downloadable games only as a physical copy. If a physical copy already exists out there, it's no use to limited run games to make another one, unless they're just money hungry and want all the money they can get, which is kind of how every company in gaming works nowadays. I would be okay with it if they released download-only titles for, say, the PlayStation 3 onto physical discs for the PlayStation 4, because again, those were never available as a physical copy. So then I'd be okay with it if it's just limited to that kind of stuff. And in an interview with Douglas Bogart, he actually mentioned that they plan on getting games to the Nintendo Switch. It's looking very positive right now, he said, and the first title was supposed to come around this summer, but that doesn't look like it's happening. So no updates have come from that yet, but it's good to know they're working on that with the Nintendo Switch. As of right now though, Microsoft and Nintendo have supply orders that are way higher than what limited run games actually creates, so they actually aren't able to work with Microsoft and Nintendo at this time. Here's hoping that they do, because I feel like if limited run games spreads out with more companies and creates more games, it will make more supply out there and ultimately make everyone happier. Anyways, that's my feelings on the limited run game situation and how to even kind of fix it, I guess? I don't know, I'm not really happy with how I would fix it, but again, there's no real way to fix this situation. You can only get pissed off at limited run games or deal with it right now. And that's kind of how they were built. What do you guys think in the comments section? Let me know below and I'll look forward to reading those. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.
When your hair, body, you gon' lose your shit. When your hair, body, you gon' lose your shit. When your hair, body, you gon' lose your shit. When your hair